Today, I'm going to be talking about willpower as a resource. To preface this idea that willpower is a resource, there was a study done, lab rats' willpower was tested, and it was able to be measured. That means that willpower isn't necessarily a feeling, more as a resource. You could also improve it over time. I'm going to be talking about how to improve it, but I'm also going to be talking about how it feels when you're actually improving it. The first question is, are you spending your willpower correctly? As odd as that may sound, there is a way to spend a resource. For example, are you spending your money on things that you deem important? That's always an important distinction. If you're spending on your money on things that you don't see importance in, such as if you're a guy and your girlfriend starts spending all her money on clothes, you don't see the value in those clothes, so you're spending that resource incorrectly to your point of view. Willpower is not dissimilar to this. The same idea that willpower can be spent correctly is going to be shown in your daily life. So first, you need to start to self-diagnose your habits. How are you spending this willpower? Are you in bed at night overthinking? As inescapable as those thoughts may seem, you're exerting some sort of willpower over your mind. You're exerting a kind of impulsive feeling to try to solve a problem that may or may not exist. It's a goofy concept, but it's a real one. It's a very, very real one and a very big reality for most people. Most people spend a lot of their time overthinking in bed, and it's not that they think it's a good use of their time. I rarely ever think that that's the case. But what I think is that people don't understand that they are spending so much of their energy and mental capacity thinking about things that have never happened or will never happen, or just judging themselves. That's not a good use of your resource, which is your willpower, your mental fortitude. So you need to self-diagnose anything that you're doing. Are you spending a lot of time on the toilet, just, wasting time, watching YouTube? Are you doing that? If you're doing that, that's obviously a problem. Is that where you think your time should be spent? Obviously not. So once you self-diagnose it, the next step is usually to set very clear goals, not just for yourself, but also for what you really want, and be specific. A lot of people, they're like, I want to get fit, I want to get rich, and I want to have more fun. What does any of that even mean? Tell me. Because if you can't tell me, then you have no idea what you really want. It's a lie. It's a myth. You have no idea what you want. You won't be able to find it by trying to get fit or trying to get healthy. Trying to get healthy or fit will not get you where you want. How fit do you want to get? Do you want to grow muscles? Do you want to, and if you do want to grow muscles, what weight do you think you want to be? How rich do you want to get? How much money do you want to have? What are you going to use that money for? Set these very clear goals, very clear expectations. Once you're able to do that, then you can actually start to function normally. You can actually start to set these clear goals and not just feel bad because you never achieve anything. You will be able to achieve it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but that achievement will come. And you get to start working towards something in particular. You get to start changing your lifestyle to fit that specific need, that specific attainable goal that you've set. Attainable or not, it doesn't matter. It's a goal that you have set yourself. So next, you need to make bad choices hard. It sounds kind of stupid and redundant. What do you mean make bad choices hard? So if you have a lot of junk food in your house and you've been wanting to get fit for years, likely that junk food is hindering your progress, because if you get a bit too emotional, if you get a bit too anxious, or if you're just not feeling that great, you're going to gravitate towards foods that don't fit your healthy standard. That's not going to help you. That's only going to hurt your progress overall. If your progress is always being deterred by your current emotional state, then just move those bad foods out of your house. If you move those bad foods out of your house, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to be able to take and consciously make those bad decisions. If you take away your ability to make a bad decision, you likely won't make it 9 times out of 10. If you're able to think about it at a certain point, you won't eat bad if it's out of your way. If you have to order food and it's expensive, you're likely not going to choose to order food a lot. Or if you don't even have the app on your phone, you're going to choose it less than otherwise you would have. Also, if it comes to money, do you have things that are spending your money on your phone? Do you have Amazon on your phone? Do you have TikTok Shop that you use constantly or compulsively? Do you buy things that are hindering your progress? If that's the case, remove those objections. Make it really difficult on yourself to make the quote unquote bad choices. If the bad choices that you're making are really just deriving from impulse, then you can change that relatively easily. You can change a lot of those choices that you make on a day-to-day life just by removing those options. Now, as you start to make these choices, things start to happen. This is something that a lot of people really don't talk about much, and that is the side effects that come with this. Now, I'm going to refer to side effects as most people are going to refer to emotions. But these are the feelings that come up when you start to make these radical changes to your life. These radical changes aren't just a dramatic change in your physicality, or aren't just a dramatic shift in what you're doing, but also how you're feeling about life. As many people know, whenever you start to make a big change in your life, you suffer mentally. You suffer greatly. You have, honestly, a bad time whenever you make these large and drastic mental shifts. You start to have more nightmares. You start to get more paranoid. You feel like you're not making the right choice. You feel like this is all too much. You're not doing the right thing. Why is it going to work this time for you? That's all normal. That's very normal feelings to have, especially when making a very big change really quickly. Once you start to make big changes super quickly, your body reacts, not just physically, but mentally. It starts to mess with how you perceive yourself, mess with what you think about yourself, your self-esteem, and everything. Paranoia is usually the first one that comes up. Whenever people think of paranoia, they think, oh, someone's out to get me. But that's not true. Paranoia can just be defined as almost an insecurity. You feel more insecure than ever. And that's normal. That's 100% normal. Feeling insecure about what you're doing is a normal thing that every single person goes through. No matter how self-confident people think, there's always something that gets under their skin, or they're always paying attention to somebody who has an opinion about them. That is a completely normal and natural feeling. The next one is self-doubt. Why is this time different for me? Why is it different this time? Now, there's always a better way to do this, which is just don't think about it at all. Just understand that what you're doing is probably the right choice. And you doing nothing is not going to help you get to your goals any faster. That's probably what you should be doing, but that's not what happens. Most people are going to think in their head, oh man, like I've tried this so many times. Of course it's not going to work again. Of course I'm going to fail. Of course I didn't go to the gym. And they think of themselves as a complete and total failure. That's not true. Rarely is that ever true. How are you ever going to succeed if you don't even try? And you don't have to believe in yourself all day, every day. That's never what you need to do, because it's never going to happen. You're always going to be insecure. You're always going to have doubt. But you just kind of have to have a little bit of confidence that, you know what, this is what I probably should be doing. This is probably what I'm supposed to be doing. That's all you need. Just clarity. And that's why the decision making for making specific decisions is far more important than just trying to make a change, trying to make some progress. You need to be very specific and very intentional, because then if you do that, you'll have more confidence in the process that you've built for yourself. Next would be despair. You're going to go through the motions. You're going to be trying to increase your willpower, trying to get to your goals, and you're just going to feel hopeless. You're going to feel like oh my God, nothing I'm doing is working. I'm not making the progress I thought. And again, 100% natural, 100% okay. That is a real emotion. None of that is fake. And maybe you're not wrong. Maybe you're not making the progress you thought. But if you look back to where you started and you're not in the same exact position, then you've already made progress. You're despairing, but you're despairing against a person who no longer exists. You're different. That's not you anymore. You are now a fundamentally different individual. And that's why you need to be super clear and super intentional about goals, super intentional about the process that you've built, about the decisions that you're making. The last one is exhaustion. You're going to be doing this for years and years and years, and you're going to feel like you're running in circles. You're running in circles. You're toiling. You're not making any type of tangible progress. It's so disheartening. It's so unmotivating. And you're going to wake up, you're going to be tired. You don't want to wake up early. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And that's okay. You're not David Goggins. You're not out there looking for the worst of the worst experience just to make yourself feel better or stay harder. That's not the goal. What you're doing this for is to get somewhere. And exhaustion is a natural part. You don't have to go hard every time you do it, but you're going to have to feel tired. And that's 100% natural. You don't need to go 100% every day. If you give 50%, that's better than giving 0 over a long period of time. Pretty much it. You like what you saw, subscribe, and thanks.